Hello everyone, in this video we are learning about types of sentences. There are four types of sentences. The first is simple sentence, the second is compound sentence, the third is complex sentence, and the last is compound complex sentence. Before learning more about types of sentences, let's talk about a clause. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. There are two kinds of clauses. The first is independent clause. The second is dependent clause. An independent clause is a clause that contains a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete thought. For example, we finished our homework. And then, a dependent clause is a clause that begins with subordinating conjunction and doesn't express a complete thought. It means that a dependent clause cannot stand alone by itself. It must be joined to independent clause. For example, after we finished our homework, this sentence begins with subordinating conjunction after, and the meaning of this sentence is still incomplete, so it needs independent clause. The complete sentence is, after we finished our homework, we watched TV for a while. In this sentence, the dependent clause, after we finished our homework, is followed by an independent clause, we watched TV for a while. So, the meaning of the sentence is understandable. Now, we are talking about the first type of sentence, that is simple sentence. A simple sentence is one independent clause. For example, my younger sister speaks English well. In this sentence, my younger sister as the subject, speaks as the verb. The second example, my brother and I are completely different. In this sentence, my brother and I as the subject, are as the verb. The third, they laughed and cried at the same time. In this sentence, they as the subject, laughed and cried as the verb. The sentences have one pair subject and verb, so we call them as simple sentences. The second type of sentence is a compound sentence. A compound sentence is two independent clauses joined together. There are three ways to join the clauses. The first, with a coordinator. For example, grammar is easy, so I learned it quickly. The second one, by using a conjunctive adverb. For example, grammar is easy, therefore I learned it quickly. The third one, by using a semicolon. For example, grammar is easy, I learned it quickly. Let's look at the details of compound sentences. The first one is compound sentences with coordinators. For example, my family goes camping every summer, and we usually have fun. This sentence has two independent clauses. The first independent clause is, my family goes camping every summer. The second independent clause is, we usually have fun. Those two independent clauses are connected by a coordinator and. Some other coordinators or coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Or we can remember them easily by saying fan boys. For the punctuation in a compound sentence with a coordinator, we should put a comma after the first independent clause. Other examples of compound sentences by using coordinators are, last year we went camping at Blue Lake, but we had a terrible time. We should go earlier, or we will not catch the train. She wants to buy a house soon, so she needs to save more money. The second, compound sentences with conjunctive adverbs. For example, the students must take a final exam, otherwise they will receive a grade of incomplete. This sentence has two independent clauses. The first independent clause is, the students must take a final exam. The second independent clause is, they will receive a grade of incomplete. Those two independent clauses are connected by a conjunctive adverb otherwise. Some other conjunctive adverbs are also, besides, furthermore, in addition, moreover, however, nevertheless, nonetheless, on the other hand, in contrast, otherwise, accordingly, consequently, as a result, therefore, hence, thus. The punctuation that we should use in a compound sentence with a conjunctive adverb is we should put a semicolon before the conjunctive adverb and a comma after the conjunctive adverb. Some other examples of compound sentences by using conjunctive adverbs are: tennis is very fun sport, therefore I play it every weekend. It has been raining for a week, nonetheless we are going to try to go camping this weekend. The third one, compound sentences with semicolons. A compound sentence with a semicolon is possible when the two independent clauses are closely related in meaning. For example, Poland was the first Eastern European country to turn away from communism. Others soon followed. This sentence has two independent clauses. The first one, Poland was the first Eastern European country to turn away from communism. The second independent clause is, others soon followed. Those two independent clauses are joined by a semicolon. Other examples of compound sentences with semicolons are: smoking is bad for you. It can damage your lungs. Tropical islands are great places to live. They have beautiful beaches. The third type of sentence is complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. For example, I enjoy traveling because I like to learn about new cultures. This sentence has two clauses. The first is I enjoy traveling as independent clause. The second, because I like to learn about new cultures as dependent clause. The dependent clause begins with subordinator because. The dependent clause can be in the beginning of the sentence. For example, because I like to learn about new cultures, I enjoy traveling. For the punctuation, we should put a comma after the dependent clause when the dependent clause comes before an independent clause. When we make a complex sentence, we should use a subordinator. The subordinators are after, although, as, just as if, as soon as, because, before, even though, how, if, since, so that, though, unless, until, what, when, whenever, where, wherever, whether, which, while, who, whom, and whose. Some other examples of complex sentences are: as soon as the class ended, the students left the room. A citizen can vote in the United States when he or she is 18 years old. We cannot leave the room until everyone finishes the chess. Although we missed the beginning of the movie, we still enjoyed it a lot. The last type of sentence is a compound complex sentence. A compound complex sentence has two independent clauses and one or more dependent clauses. For example, I wanted to travel after I graduated from college, but I had to go to work immediately. This sentence consists of three clauses. The first is independent clause, I wanted to travel, followed by dependent clause, after I graduated from college, with subordinating conjunction after. And then followed by the second independent clause, I had to go to work immediately, with coordinating conjunction but. Some examples of compound complex sentences are: I wanted to travel after I graduated from college, but I had to go to work immediately because I had to support my family. Because grammar is easy, I learned it quickly, but it took me several years to master writing. After the storm passed, I went outside and I picked flowers.